I will turn over the ceremonies to the voice of WSPC, the voice of Stanford, Mr. Len Gambino.
Thank you very much, Tommy. Turn that volume down. Thank you, Bobby. You know, it's a great honor for me tonight to be here. You know, following Andy's career, not only as a fan, as a professional sportscaster, and also as a family friend. You know, Andy played his football on this field while at Stanford High School. After graduating, he served his country in World War II. And then after that was in the U.S. Navy, he attended Arnold College, and then on the NFL draft in 1951, he was drafted by the Los Angeles Rams. Andy actually helped the Rams win a national championship that year. 5 years later, I remember talking with Andy, and I always felt if he had not been a good father, he might never have been a New York Giant. In 1956, Andy's wife, Jeannie, was 9 months pregnant. And Andy had asked the organization, the Rams, if he could be 2 weeks late for training camp. He actually was denied. So Andy told the Rams, well, I'm going to take the year off and spend time with my wife and my new child. And it was a couple of days later, he did receive a phone call from a man who turned out to be one of his best friends, the owner of the New York Giants, Wellington Mara. In that phone conversation, I remember Andy telling me Mr. Mara had asked him if he would consider being the New York Giant. And of course, Andy jumped at the opportunity, knowing to be home with his family and also his children. He was traded to the New York Giants in 1956. Andy had a stellar career. Defense, those glory years of the Giants, 56, so he retired in 64. He became that defensive position. He turned it into a level that no one had ever dreamed of. 7-time Pro Bowl. It helped the Giants win the national championship in 1956. You know, Andy, just to mention those great defensive teams, I have to throw those names out that he was with. You'll see it in your program today. The Dick Modulewski, Rosie Greer, Jim Catkavich, Sam Huff, Evelyn Tennell. That was a great group. In fact, reading Frank Gifford's memoirs, Frank Gifford, the great all-purpose player for the Giants, he said that in the mid-50s, led by Robustelli, fans started to chant defense instead of rooting for the offense. That was a great, great team. Andy retired in 64, 1971. He was elected to the ultimate National Football League Hall of Fame. And again, it's a great honor for me, knowing Andy, being a friend. And when I was asked this to do tonight, I'm just so happy to be here. Please, at this time, welcome Mayor Michael Pena.
Thank you very much. Welcome everyone. I'm proud to be here on this auspicious occasion. First to see a beautiful football game going on, and then to pay special tribute to the family and friends of a great Stanford resident, Andy Robustelli. It's fitting and proper that we named this field to be Andy Robustelli's field. We know that Andy Robustelli was legendary, yet humble. He was great, yet very calm. He was gracious, kind, and considerate, as only a gentleman can be. He even exemplified what it meant to be a great citizen, husband, father, and friend. While many believe that Andy Robustelli's greatest achievements occurred on the football field, outside of the city of Stamford, Andy Robustelli would say that his proudest accomplishment was being part of this great community. Andy Robustelli was an All-American, but Andy Robustelli was all Stanford. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Please give a nice welcome to the acting super schools, Dr. Winnie Hamilton.
Good evening. I would miss tonight if I didn't take this moment. I want to hear all about the athletic prowess and the skill of this gentleman, but I think the real legacy and legend is about what we can learn educationally from this gentleman and this model. I would use 3 words: determination. This was a gentleman who came from a small college, was a small athlete for the game he was going to play, and yet he achieved to be a Hall of Fame, to be an outstanding, I think the most outstanding player in the NFL in 1962. That's quite an accomplishment. On top of that dedication was determination. He may not have been the biggest, and he didn't start out as a first-round draft pick. But what he exceeded and what he did was the determination to be the best at whatever he did. If that was being a father, a teammate, or someone who served his country. And of course, when you talk about that, you're talking about dedication. Someone who was dedicated to his family, dedicated to this country, and to his teammates. So I think the lesson that everyone here, and what we can take away from this, is a life where we work hard, where we determine, and what Stanford is always talking about for young people: if you work hard at something and you try your best and you never let anyone tell you you can't, you can accomplish anything you want and do anything you want. So I think this gentleman and that lesson is something we should remember. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Let's welcome to at this time the Stanford High School principal, Dr. Donna Valentine.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Lots of people standing behind me think they might have the best job in Stanford. I want you to know being principal and Black Knight is the best job. I have many people to thank, and the list is long, so I'm going to read it. First of all, Mayor Michael Pavia. Without his support, this couldn't have happened. Dr. Winnie Hamilton, Acting Superintendent of Schools. The next 2 people I want to thank, I bugged from the first day I started working here. Al Barbarata, our Director of Facilities, and Jerry Pia, who I was on the phone with weekly. He's the Vice President of the Board of Ed and the Board of Reps in the 7th District. Lou Casilo and Jeff Brown, our engineers. H.I. Stone, the construction company. I never met a group of better guys. Polly Tan, the track and field installers. And not least but not least, the parents whose help this wouldn't have happened. I'd like to particularly thank Pete Samperi, who is out here every day in the freezing cold, guiding things along. A hand for Pete. The members of the Board of Education, the members of the Board of Finance, and the members of the Board of Representatives. Thank you all.
At this time, I'd like to present the Board of Education Vice President, Jerry Peter.
Lenny says to me, not too long. Okay, everybody over there, all these kids, listen up for a minute. Everybody that you're seeing today on this field has aspirations to be Andy Robustelli. All of you parents that are here and friends of all these football players are all wishing that someday your son will go into the NFL and he can be an NFL Hall of Famer. And it happened with Andy. I had the pleasure many times to talk to Andy, and I would say to him that the very first thing I would say would be, hi, I know you, you're Andy Robustelli, you're an NFL Hall of Famer, and he'd give you that big smile. One of the most humble people I've ever met in my whole life, and it was a pleasure just to know him. The Robustelli family and I have known each other for many years. A lot of us grew up together, and it was my pleasure after Andy's passing to listen to a lot of people who were coming to me as person on the Board of Reps or the Board of Ed and saying, we need to do something for Andy. What can we do? And then people were talking about, naming the field. Well, this stadium is named for Michael A. Boyle, and the mayor is going to read that plaque in a minute. This field is now named after Andy Robustelli. And we need to thank everybody from the mayor on down, the administration. There's people on the Board of Reps here, Perry Day, Mary Fidelli, but there's 40 of us. Obviously, this vote was unanimous. The 9-member Board of Education. I'd be remiss not to name my friend Al Barbarata, who done not only, how great is this field? Come on. Andy would just be so humbled by this, but I had the honor of sitting with his family and talking to his family about how this was all going to move forward. And Rick Robustelli, who was going to talk in a minute, was saying to me, no, I really don't want this to be a huge deal, but if it's going to be the field at Stanford High School, you have no idea how much that stadium and that field meant to my father. Yeah, you can applaud that. One of the things that's very interesting in my life is that we've named this field after Andy Robustelli, and we're naming something after a longtime representative, John Batuzzi. But wouldn't it be nice if Andy and his family could have been sitting at those benches when this long-time Stanford resident could have seen us all naming this field after him? So it is my honor to bring up the mayor. The mayor is going to read the Michael A. Boyle plaque. These are facsimiles of the plaques. They're going to be another 4 weeks in the meeting. They're going to be done in bronze. They're going to be on those stones over there, and these facsimiles are going to be in the trophy case. So here, I'll tell you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a plaque that will be placed in memory and honor of Michael A. Boyle, 1881 to 1842, and it reads, this stadium is respectfully dedicated to the memory of Mike Boyle, one of Stanford's most beloved citizens who devoted his entire lifetime to the education and physical well-being of youth. He will be long remembered as an educator, athlete, director, and public servant.
Rick, Andy, I was going to turn this over to you by why don't our brothers and sisters can stand here while I read this. Ready? Let's have a big hand for the Robustelli family. Andy Robustelli, 1925 to 2001. This field is respectfully dedicated to the memory of one of Stanford's favorite sons, Andy Robustelli. His life was a shining example of sportsmanship, teamwork, family devotion, and service to his community. With this dedication, we honor a man who was a leader on the field, an entrepreneur in business, and despite his success, never forgot where he came from or the people who touched his life along the way. He will forever be remembered for his kindness, his generosity of spirit, his intelligence, and his citizenship. Lifelong resident of Stanford, graduate of Stanford High School, and Arnold College, distinguished service in the U.S. Navy during World War II, illustrious 14-year career in the NFL with the Los Angeles Rams and the New York Giants 1951 to 1964. Played in 8 NFL title games, won 2 World Championships, named Maxwell Club's NFL Player of the Year in 1962. Named All-Pro 7 times, played in 7 Pro Bowls, inducted into the NFL Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1971, Director of Operations for the New York Giants, owner of Robustelli World Travel and Army, corporate services for over 40 years, active supporter of Stanford community projects and numerous charitable organizations, and the family wants you to know that Andy Robustelli was once a giant, always a giant. It was my pleasure as a representative to the business and thanks to everybody in Stanford for making this team forward. Thank you, Jay. And before I bring Ricky up here, who's been representing the family, Andy Robustelli and his wife Gina, you have to remember now, they had 9 children, 3 grandchildren. They went to 50 games over the years. I think they hold the record. Rick? Thank you, Len, my colleague, Superintendent Hamilton, Dr. Valentine, Jerry, Bobby V. On behalf of the Robustelli family, I would like to thank the Board of Representatives and the Board of Education for honoring our father with the dedication of the Andy Robustelli Field at Royal Stadium. Michael Boyle will be remembered in Stanford sport history forever. And we feel honored to have our father recognized at Royal Stadium. Stanford High School is very special to our family. Here's where it began and started. My father played football and baseball here. It is the place where our father and mother met and became high school sweethearts. And also the place where they met people who became their wonderful lifetime friends. While our father had the opportunity to travel the world and play in every NFL stadium, this is the stadium that would mean the most to him. I am sure he would be humbled by this honor and smiling with appreciation. Our family sincerely thanks the great people of Stanford for bestowing this honor upon our father. Thank you. Thank you. At this time, let's have a nice round of applause for the website.
This is State Representative Barry Fidelli, and head of facilities at Alabama Road. We also will close it out. We have a representative from the New York Giants.